Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, where did the time go? Maybe your knees creak a little more than they used to. Maybe you're noticing changes in energy, sleep, memory that you didn't expect. If you've ever had those thoughts, you're not alone. Aging is a journey we're all on, but here's the good news. It doesn't have to be a downhill ride. Imagine waking up each day with a spring in your step, a clear mind, and a full heart. Imagine adding not just more years to your life, but more life to your years. Science says it's possible, and it all starts with what you do daily. Today, we're diving into 5 powerful habits that research shows can add up to 10 extra years of quality life, especially after age 60. These aren't extreme overhauls or expensive programs. Just simple, science-backed tweaks you can start making today. And they don't just help you live longer, they help you live better. Now, before we keep going, I'd love your help with something. If you're enjoying this video so far, comment Y below. If not, comment N. It helps me know what's working and what to improve. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Now let's dive deeper. Let's start with the first and most powerful daily habit, movement. Now I'm not talking about running marathons or spending hours at the gym. Unless you wanna. I'm talking about consistent, daily movement that keeps your body strong and your brain sharp. You see, as we age, we naturally lose muscle mass. It's something called sarcopenia, and it can start as early as your 40s and 50s, but really accelerates after 60. The result? A higher risk of falls, slower metabolism, and less energy. But here's the kicker, this isn't inevitable. Regular movement can slow, or even reverse, some of these changes. I'll tell you about George. He's 72 and lives down the street from me. A few years ago, he was struggling to get up from his recliner. His doctor warned him about his blood pressure, and he was afraid of slipping in the shower. Instead of giving up, George made one small change. He started walking 20 minutes a day. That's it. Just a walk around the block. Over time, 20 minutes became 30. Then he added in some light stretching and bodyweight squats using a chair for support. Fast forward 2 years, his balance is better, he's lost 15 pounds, and more importantly, he feels younger. And there's science behind this too. A 2018 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that even light daily physical activity, like gardening, brisk walking, or Tai Chi, can significantly reduce the risk of disability and prolong independence. Another Harvard study found that just 15 minutes of moderate exercise per day can increase your life expectancy by 3 years. Imagine what 30 minutes can do. Now, here's what I suggest if you're just starting. Choose something you enjoy. Don't force yourself onto a treadmill if it makes you miserable. Dance in the living room. Walk with a friend. Join a senior swim class. The joy of movement matters just as much as the movement itself. And don't forget about strength. Lifting light weights, or even using resistance bands a few times a week can do wonders for your bones and muscles. According to the CDC, strength training just twice a week improves balance, reduces the risk of falls, and can even help manage chronic conditions like arthritis or diabetes. And let's talk about flexibility and mobility. Stretching might seem like a small thing, but maintaining your range of motion can keep you active and independent for years to come. Yoga or even simple chair stretches can loosen stiff joints, improve circulation, and reduce aches and pains. If you're wondering how to begin, you don't need a complicated plan. Start small. Set a timer and walk for 10 minutes after breakfast. Do a few leg lifts while brushing your teeth. Put on your favorite song and dance around the kitchen. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Here's a mindset shift that helped a friend of mine, Susan. She said, "I used to think if I didn't work out for an hour, it wasn't worth it. But now I think even 5 minutes is better than 0. And she's right. A little every day adds up to a lot over time. Think of your body like a garden. It needs tending every day, not once a month. Daily movement is like watering your flowers, pulling the weeds, and giving your soil a little love. Skip too many days and things start to wither. But just a few minutes of care each day, and your body can bloom again. Movement keeps your heart pumping, your brain firing, and your spirits lifted. It improves sleep, digestion, blood sugar, mood, you name it. It's like nature's multivitamin. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, I've been inactive for a while, is it too late for me? The answer is a big, bold no. It's never too late to start. Every step counts. In fact, I want to leave you with a question. What kind of movement could you enjoy today? Right now even? Could you take a walk, stretch your arms to the sky, or sway along to a tune? Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Coming up next, we're going to talk about another powerful habit, one that fuels not just your body but your brain, mood, and even your immune system. It's something most people overlook, but has an enormous impact on how we age. Let's keep going. Your future self will thank you. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Alright, so we've talked about movement, the incredible daily habit that can turn back the biological clock. Now let's dive into another powerhouse for aging well, what you eat. You've probably heard the phrase, you are what you eat. But let me ask you, when was the last time you really thought about how food makes you feel? For many of us, especially after 60, food can either be medicine or slow poison. The body becomes more sensitive to inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and nutrient deficiencies. That means what worked in your 30s or 40s might not be working anymore. The good news? The right foods can nourish your cells, support brain health, reduce pain, and give you more energy than you thought possible. Let me tell you about Linda, a vibrant 67-year-old who swears she added 10 good years to her life simply by changing her plate. She used to eat what she called the convenience diet: frozen meals, pastries, soda. It was quick, it was easy, and honestly, it was what she was used to. But she was always tired. Her joints ached, her memory was slipping, and she was gaining weight without really changing how much she ate. One day, after watching a video just like this, something clicked. She decided to start small. She swapped her morning muffin for a bowl of oats with berries and walnuts. Lunch became a colorful salad with grilled chicken. Dinner? Less pasta, more veggies and beans. And snacks? Out went the cookies, in came apple slices and almond butter. Within a few weeks, her energy shot up. Her joints didn't hurt as much. Her sleep improved. She told me, "I didn't know how foggy I felt until the fog started lifting." And science agrees with Linda. Research published in the British Medical Journal shows that adopting a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, olive oil, and lean proteins like fish, can lower your risk of chronic diseases and even extend your lifespan by over a decade. Here's why it works. These foods fight inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and provide essential nutrients your body needs to repair itself. Omega-3s in fatty fish like salmon help protect your brain. Fiber from leafy greens and legumes keeps your digestion smooth. Antioxidants in berries, nuts, and colorful vegetables combat the oxidative stress that accelerates aging. Now, I get it, changing eating habits can feel overwhelming. So don't try to do it all at once. Start with one simple rule: eat real food. If it grew on a tree, sprouted from the ground, or once had a face, you're probably on the right track. One easy tip: make half your plate vegetables at every meal. Cook with olive oil instead of butter. Drink more water. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Which brings me to our next powerful habit, one that's often overlooked but absolutely essential: sleep. If you've ever spent a night tossing and turning, you know just how important sleep is. But as we age, getting quality sleep can become harder. Hormonal changes, aches and pains, stress, it all plays a part. Yet deep, restful sleep is when your body does its most important healing work. Sleep isn't just rest, it's recovery. It's when your brain processes memories, your cells repair damage, and your immune system strengthens. Chronic poor sleep has been linked to everything from heart disease to depression to cognitive decline. In fact, a study from the National Institutes of Health found that adults over 60 who consistently sleep fewer than 6 hours a night are at significantly higher risk of developing dementia. Let me introduce you to Ron. He's 70, still sharp as a tack, and swears by his 9:30 bedtime. For years, he treated sleep like an afterthought, watching TV until midnight, waking up groggy and achy. But once he committed to a nightly wind-down routine, Dim lights, no screens after 8 p.m., a cup of chamomile tea, his sleep transformed. He says he feels younger now than he did in his 50s. So how can you sleep better? First, try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your body loves routine. Next, create a calm, dark, quiet space. Limit caffeine after lunchtime. And skip those screens before bed. Blue light from phones and TVs can trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. And here's something fun. Gentle movement during the day, like walking or stretching, actually helps you sleep better at night. So that first habit we talked about, it connects right here. If you ever feel like your days are rushed and your nights are restless, you're not alone. But know this, you can reclaim your rest. And when you do, you'll notice the difference, not just in how you sleep, but in how you think, feel, and move through life. Now, so far, we've explored how movement keeps you strong, how food fuels your cells, and how sleep helps you heal. But we're not done yet. Coming up next, we're going to talk about something just as important, maybe even more so. It's about what's happening in your mind and how your thoughts, stress levels, and sense of purpose can either accelerate aging or help you thrive for decades to come. You won't want to miss this part, especially if you've ever felt overwhelmed, lonely, or stuck in your routine. There's a way out, and I'm going to show you how. Ready to keep going? Let's dive into it next. You've made it this far, and by now we've uncovered how movement, food, and sleep are all major players in helping you live longer and better. But now we're stepping into something that's just as powerful and often underestimated. Let me ask you, have you ever felt like your thoughts were wearing you down more than your body was? Like stress or worry was stealing your energy? You're not imagining it. In fact, scientists now know that what's going on in your mind, your stress levels, your beliefs, your sense of purpose, can directly impact how your body ages. It's like your mindset sends messages to your cells, telling them whether to thrive or to struggle. There's a fascinating study from the University of California, San Francisco, that looked at the biological aging of women who were caregivers for loved ones with chronic illness, a group known to be under immense stress. Researchers found these women had shorter telomeres, which are the protective caps on your DNA. Shorter telomeres are linked to accelerated aging, disease, and even early death. But here's the kicker. Some of the women in the same study, even though they were under stress, didn't show the same aging effects. Why? Because they had better emotional coping skills, things like mindfulness, community support, and a positive outlook. In other words, how you respond to stress matters just as much as the stress itself. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 74 now, and he told me that a few years ago he was in what he called a gray zone. Not depressed, exactly, but not inspired either. His days felt like reruns. Wake up, have coffee, do the crossword, watch TV, go to bed. Repeat. He said, it was like I was waiting around for something to change, but nothing ever did. Then one day, he decided to volunteer at a community garden. Just once a week. He liked plants, figured it'd be a way to get out of the house. And something shifted. Being around others, digging into the soil, having people depend on him, it lit a spark. He started smiling more, sleeping better, even walking farther and faster. Now Harold jokes that the garden gave him 5 extra years of life, and maybe a 6-pack if he keeps pulling weeds. That's the magic of purpose. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be flashy. But having something meaningful to look forward to, even just once a week, can lower your cortisol levels, protect your heart, and boost your immune system. A Japanese study from the Journal of Psychosomatic Research found that older adults who reported having ikigai, a reason to wake up in the morning, had lower rates of chronic illness and lived significantly longer than those who didn't. And here's the best part. It's never too late to find your reason. Maybe it's joining a walking group, mentoring someone younger, or even taking up painting. Whatever lights that inner spark, that's your path to a longer life. Now let's talk about one more habit that might surprise you. The power of social connection. Yes, that includes laughing with friends, hugging your grandkids, and even chatting with your neighbor while taking out the trash. There's this incredible 85-year-long Harvard study. Yes, 85 years. That followed the lives of hundreds of people to uncover what really keeps us healthy and happy over time. The biggest finding? It wasn't wealth, fame, or even cholesterol levels that predicted a longer, happier life. It was close relationships. The people who felt most connected to others stayed sharper, were physically healthier, and lived longer, even into their 90s. One of the study directors said it best: loneliness kills. It's as powerful as smoking or alcoholism. Let me tell you about Marie. She lost her husband of 40 years and said the quiet in her house felt like a blanket she couldn't shake off. She'd always been independent, but suddenly she felt invisible. Then a friend invited her to a local seniors book club. She hesitated but showed up. 1 week became 2, and pretty soon, Marie was the one bringing cookies and starting the discussions. "I didn't know how much I needed people until I had them again," she said. "If you've been feeling isolated, you're not alone, but that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Reach out, call a friend, say yes to that invitation, or send one. It doesn't take much to build a connection, but it could give you years of health and joy in return. And if socializing feels hard or draining, even a pet can make a difference." Studies show that pet ownership is linked to lower blood pressure, better heart health, and reduced depression. So whether it's a pup, a parrot, or a tabby cat, those wagging tails and purrs might be giving you more than companionship. They might be adding years to your life. Now let's take a moment to bring it all together. So far, we've covered 4 major habits: a daily movement to stay strong and flexible, nourishing food that heals instead of harms, restful sleep to repair your body and mind, a positive, engaged mindset that gives you purpose and calms your stress. But we're not done yet. In our final section, we're going to talk about what it all really means. How to start small without feeling overwhelmed. How to keep going on the hard days. And most importantly, how to believe that this life, right now, is still full of energy, joy, and possibility. So stay with me because the best part is just ahead. So here we are. You've taken the journey through the key habits that science and real life have shown can truly add years to your life after 60. And not just more years, but better ones. Healthier, more vibrant, more joyful years. And if you're thinking, okay, that all sounds great, but where do I begin? You're not alone. The truth is, no one changes everything overnight. And the good news is, you don't have to. Start with one small shift. 1 glass of water in the morning. 1 short walk around the block. 1 5-minute stretch before bed. 1 phone call to someone you miss. These tiny actions are like seeds, and over time, they grow into something much bigger. Here's something I always remind people: the body follows the mind. If you believe you're too old to change, you won't. But if you believe you still have time, and that it's never too late to make a new choice, your body will start to respond. I remember talking to a woman named Joan. She was 82 and had just started lifting light weights with a small group at her community center. When I asked what made her start so late in life, she said, "Late? Honey, I'm just getting started." And she meant it. You could see it in her eyes. That fire, that sense of possibility, it was contagious. And what's amazing is that science backs her up. Studies show that even people in their 80s and 90s can build new muscle, strengthen their bones, and improve balance and brain health, just by moving a little more and staying mentally active. Your body is designed to adapt right up to the very end. Even your brain, yes, your brain, has what scientists call neuroplasticity, which means it can form new connections and grow new cells, even in later life. Learning something new, picking up a hobby, or simply being curious about the world keeps that spark alive. So try a puzzle, learn a few phrases in a new language, or take up painting. It's not just fun, it's literally rewiring your brain for health and longevity. And let's not forget the emotional piece. Feeling connected, feeling seen, having a purpose, it's just as vital as eating your greens or getting your steps in. You matter. Your story matters. And every new chapter you choose to write makes life richer. Not just for you, but for everyone lucky enough to know you. Maybe you've been through loss. Maybe your body doesn't feel as strong as it once did. Maybe you've had moments when the future looked more gray than golden. But the most beautiful thing about life is that each day brings a chance to begin again. To try something new. To choose hope. To take care of yourself, not just for the extra years you may gain, but for the life you still have to live right now. And that's really what this video is all about. Not perfection, not turning back the clock, but moving forward with grace, with purpose, and with the belief that your best years can still be ahead of you. So let's take a quick, casual recap of what we covered, just to anchor it all in. You've got daily movement, not just for strength, but for energy and mood. You've got food as fuel, healing you from the inside out. You've got restful sleep, that beautiful repair time your body craves. You've got mindset and stress, how your inner world shapes your outer health. And finally, you've got connection and purpose, because we're not meant to do this life alone. If you only take one thing from this video, let it be this. Small steps done consistently can change everything. You don't need to become a new person. You just need to believe that you're still becoming. And that belief, it's powerful. It's healing. It's the secret that lets you keep moving, even on the days when your knees ache or your motivation dips. So maybe today's the day you take that walk, or swap the soda for water, or finally try that painting class, or call that old friend. Whatever it is, start now. Not someday. Not when things are easier. Now. And to help you keep going, here's one more beautiful insight, straight from the research. People who believe that aging is a time of growth, rather than decline, actually live 7.5 years longer on average than those who see it as a time of loss. That's from a study by Yale psychologist Becca Levy. Your beliefs aren't just thoughts, they're lifelines. So go ahead, believe in your future. Believe in your strength. Believe in the years still waiting for you to live them fully. Now before we go, we'd really love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions for future topics or questions you want answered, write to us in the comments below. We're here to help, and your input could inspire our next video. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on more practical tips for healthy aging. Here's to living your best life at any age. You've got this, and we're right here with you.